Please welcome to the stage Nicholas Moore Eisenberger.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back. What a great day yesterday. I am Nicholas Eisenberger, the chair of the DAC Coalition and a longtime investor and entrepreneur in the clean tech space, and that includes a ludicrous-sounding 18 years in DAC, as hard as that is to believe. This morning, I want to start by talking a little bit about the elephant in the room and do my best to encourage us all to welcome that elephant. I think everyone here can viscerally feel our space is at a major transition point right now. Much of this has nothing to do with the change in administration. As someone said yesterday, the DAC industry has entered the show me moment. After showering the DAC sector with a remarkable amount of attention, money, and support in recent years, society wants to start to see results. Making this transition is not going to be easy. It presents new challenges, requiring new skills, new money, and the processing of lots of new variables. But without minimizing how daunting that transition can be, we should welcome it. It's truly a blessing, if I might use that word, to be at this point. To have over 150 companies vying to get their solutions deployed, to have thousands of talented humans working on building this industry around the world, to be able to fill this room with people who are so capable and passionate. What a privilege. We have come so very far in a remarkably short period of time. And now we have the great opportunity to take it to the next level. That's really amazing. But we all know that there are other potentially even larger challenges, at least uncertainties facing direct air capture. The US now has, whatever you think of him, a historic disruptor as its president. We're still less than 2 months into this new administration, and pretty much every expectation has been upended. Nearly everything, and I mean everything, is up in the air. No one, and again, I mean literally no one, even him, knows what to expect next. It's scary, and it's serious. And I don't want to minimize the reality of the potential challenges this industry will face as a result. But I do want to try to provide some perspective on the challenges we've had to overcome so far that I hope will be comforting. I got my start in direct air capture when my father, Dr. Peter Eisenberger, sent me a one-page pitch asking me if I would invest in the completely novel to me concept of taking CO2 directly out of the air. This was in 2006 or 2007. Inspired by conversations and debates with his then fellow professor at Columbia, Klaus Lachter, my father and his co-founder Graciela Cicholnitsky had their own ideas about how to do it. They intensely believed it could fundamentally change the game, not just in our ability to fight climate change, but in our ability to harness the carbon cycle for the benefit of humanity. Long story short, I invested in Global Thermostat and thus began a long, arduous 10-year-plus odyssey to get anyone to care about direct air capture. And believe me, it was not fun. Literally thousands of repetitive conversations about what it was, how it worked, and why it was needed. By Peter, by Graciela, by me, and my other GT colleagues, including Dr. Eric Ping, who's here today, and Avery, who's in the back, and others who are not in this room today. Over and over and over again, getting no, 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 again and again and again. Literally several thousand times, same conversation. It was at times truly soul-sucking. And it was very lonely, too. In the early days, there were just a few humans who understood or cared about direct air capture. But slowly at first, and then more and more rapidly, that began to change. The Paris Agreement, the 1.5 degree report, the COVID pandemic, and all of your efforts here in this room. And suddenly, about 5 years ago, the explosion of innovation and interest that led us to this moment. The point of this story is this: we have overcome great adversity and extremely long odds to get here already. This should give us real confidence. We can endure and survive whatever uncertainty gets thrown at us in the coming years. In 2016, shortly after Trump was elected to his first term in office, I wrote a piece for Fortune magazine predicting that the clean energy economy would survive Trump. And it did, in spades, because it makes sense. In fact, and I know this is going to sound really crazy, but at some level, I think the DAC industry should welcome the challenge of the second Trump administration. Both natural evolution and human experience have shown us that adversity is one of the best ways to drive improvements and refinements and drive resilience. The challenge to explain ourselves and justify our continued existence is, properly seen, an opportunity to sharpen our value proposition and broaden our appeal. As Savvy argued yesterday, and I fully agree, it is an opportunity to reach across the aisle and better understand why it is that a significant portion of our society uses different language and prioritizes different things. That is not to say that we shouldn't continue to fully anchor our efforts in a fact-based universe. We absolutely should. But rather, I see this moment as forcing a healthy acknowledgement that it was never going to be possible to build one of the largest industries in human history without bringing along people with very different perspectives. This is also an opportunity to stop letting the perfect be the enemy of the good. If we require every DAC project to have cheap, carbon-free power on top of permitted Class 6 wells, it might simply take longer than the time we have. Finally, in my view, and this is controversial, but this challenging moment makes it easier to see the hard truth that we're going to have to make some difficult decisions in the coming years about what DAC pathway or pathways have the best chance of scaling to meet the climate challenge. As some of you know, my father also had very strong views about what was needed for DAC to succeed. He was a tireless promoter of several core tenets. One, the belief that DAC could and should not only help save the planet, but make people's lives better too, by delivering economic benefits in an equitable way that advances human development more broadly. He also believed in the idea that we must be willing to radically collaborate in sometimes uncomfortable ways across organizational, sectoral, and perspective boundaries, including, as I've mentioned, political boundaries, in order to scale direct air capture. And he had the firm conviction that true mobilization of society's resources in support of DAC was both possible and necessary to address climate change in the limited time we have. True mobilization. As some of you know, my father passed away last month at 83. He was a strong advocate of cultivating a collaborative DAC community from the start, and his ideas helped inform and inspire the formation of the DAC Coalition. So if you'll forgive me, I wanted to use his passing as an excuse to share these ideas in the hope that they will fuel your and our journey going forward and help us face both the real challenges and opportunities of this pivotal moment. As we start our second day here, let's not forget to celebrate the tremendous progress we've made. We should have confidence that with all the ingenuity and determination in this room and a fair amount dose of radical collaboration, we can overcome the hurdles that lie ahead. Remember, too, that you are not alone. Not anymore. That's what the DAC Coalition's for. That's what this event is for. So, sure, there's a lot of work to do, but we should welcome it. What an opportunity we have in front of us. So let's pick up Peter's urgent call to action and work together to scale DAC like the future depends on it, because it does. Thank you.